Well, happy, beautiful, amazing day, Organo family. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, Blue Diamond out of Houston, Texas. Thrilled to share with you this week's conversation on success. And we're going to talk about 7 proven strategies to build a thriving network in 2025. So it's interesting. I used AI to help me create the outline. Now it's practical experience that'll tie into the outline. But part of what I want to share with you is AI can be a great tool to really help you prospect, share, invite, even present, but you've got to build yourself too as well and know where you're going. So I asked AI, what are the 7 best strategies today? And I'll tell you, not only did AI come back with good answers, but these answers resonate with my personal experience and they resonate what I'm learning for some of the best networkers all over the world through a mastermind with Eric Worre that I've been doing for the last 6 years. So the first thing you want to do is get a clear vision and SMART goals. SMART is an acronym. I'll go through that with you. In 2025, you want to learn to leverage social media and digital marketing. We talk about high touch versus high tech. And, high tech is going to have high reach. High touch is how you apply yourself within that high tech, how you create conversations, how you make connections. And we'll talk about that as well. Notice that step 3 talks about building genuine relationships. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. You've got to have that relationship. You just don't want to be spamming people. As Fraser Brooks would say, don't be a Spamela Anderson. And spam is what they're going to call repulsion marketing. If all you're doing is talk about your product or how great your life is and me, mine, you're going to get people to push away. So connect with them, talk about them and how our products and business can help them. I am a fan of mastering product knowledge and ethical selling. You probably don't have that at this moment, but you're connected to people that do. So learn to leverage those connections as well. Find a mentor. That's built into this system. Everybody's connected to someone that's very successful in this business. You want a disciplined daily routine. I'll tell you what, that's one of the greatest pieces of advice ever. And then finally, you want to both empower and train your team for duplication. So very, very quickly, we've got some great promotions out. We're now 17 years of success. That's an epic achievement. And we were looking at promotions that can work very, very well. When people order on the first of the month and or have an auto ship, they are going to get a discount on that. I'm going to encourage everybody to set up auto ship. You have 48 hours. So by the time you listen to this, you might be able to get your auto ship set up by the 15th. I hope you do. If not, set it up for next month. Take advantage of those great savings. Keep in mind, if you're a partner, you get free shipping on orders over $500. If you are a customer, free shipping over $50. And there are a number of packs that make building the business better than ever. And Organo's ever evolving those based on the needs of the market and how they can best serve all of us. Remember, this is part training, part information. Training component, Les Brown always taught this. He says, look, if you're going to talk to people, they want to know, who are you? What do you have? And why should I listen to you? So there's a lot of roles I could tell you I play. I'm a health educator. I've taught over 10,000 hours of seminars over 3 decades on 6 different continents. I'm also a practitioner. And you might think that gives me an advantage in terms of health, but here's what I'll tell you. It took me more than a year to get out of my own way. I thought I was too cool for network marketing. That model, I was a professional. I thought I was above it, but here are the facts. This was the best business decision I've ever made. I can help more people. I can empower more people. And guess what? No one more than myself and my family. I have more time, more money, more freedom, more everything because of this epic business model. And I'm going to encourage you. You are where you are. Me, I was never going to get into network marketing. You could count on that. But now I'm one of its biggest fans, and I'll shout the benefits from the rooftop. And Kelly and I have achieved Blue Diamond. We've received a lot of awards. If you look at those rings, it says 500,000 on that. We can't make income claims, but look up what that means. And I think you're going to realize that we've been pretty successful. And more than that, we enjoy it and we have a whole lot of help building this business. So let's start with number one, vision. Very famous biblical statement: when there is no vision, the people will perish. You've got to be able to see better to want to succeed and move forward in life. And if you really plug into the vision of what we're offering, a multinational, multi-billion dollar vertical corporation where everybody wins, you realize that this is a great way to help people. I'm a big fan of quotes. Nelson Mandela said this: action without vision is only passing time. So that those actions can't be meaningless. They can't be purposeless. You've got to have an aim to those actions. And we'll show you how to block time to have very powerful leveraged actions. It says vision without action is merely daydreaming. Yeah, I like to think about all the good I'm going to create. But as Einstein said, nothing happens until something moves. But how about this? Vision with action can change the world. Nelson Mandela, one of the best at it. So I listened to Zig Ziglar one time, and he says, you know what? I can teach any one of you, even if you've never fired a bow and arrow, to beat the world champion archer with just a very short lesson. But he said, here's the qualification. I'm going to take this archer, I'm going to blindfold him, I'm going to spin him around. So reality is you can't hit a target that you can't see. So you want to be very, very clear about your organo goal, about your income goal, about your impact goal. And then I'll show you what a SMART goal is, because most of us don't set SMART goals. We don't have a good, reasonable timeline based on where we are. My favorite goal is to finish today better than I started and to show up tomorrow as a better me than I did today. Even though those are difficult to quantify, I like doing that. So talk about clarity. The sages of Greece, the sages of wisdom back there, someone was walking down the road and they said, hey, what's the most difficult thing in life to do? And the guy said, well, the most difficult thing is to know yourself. And the guy sat back. He thought, wow, okay, I'm with me 24/7, 365. How do I not know myself? Take the time to get to know you, know who you are, know where you come from. By the way, I believe we all come from the same source. And I believe we're all here to have superpowers that we're to discover and deploy in service of the world. And guess what? In my heart of hearts, I know that you have that superpower. So look at yourself, find it, share it. The second question this person had is, okay, if knowing yourself is the hardest, what's the easiest? And I said, well, to give advice. Think about that, right? Anybody can do that. And then they asked, what's most fulfilling? Well, that was true success. And Tom Morris wrote the book, True Success. Now there's a 25-year anniversary. Clarity is number one. Clarity, confidence, consistency, commitment, concentration of effort, character, and contentment. We can go over those in another conversation of success, but those are all absolutely critical to success. Now, here's what I'll tell you. You want to know what you want and why you want it. But if you're in survival mode, you probably want to survive. I like what Sadhguru says. He says, if a man is hungry, he has one problem. If a man's belly is full, he has a million problems. So as you start moving up that ladder of success, we want you to get there. Your options become a lot more dynamic. But when you're in survival, let's get you out of that. Let's get you a better product. Let's get you a game plan. Listen, you don't even have to have any context. We've had people come into this country and sell coffee sachets on a street corner and ultimately work their way up. By the way, this person barely had the shirt on their back. So, a former leader in Organo gave him a shirt, gave him a jacket, gave him some samples, gave him a pitch. And this person I'm telling the story about ultimately became an emerald. So how powerful is that? Now, when you're surviving, let's get you to stable where next month you're going to be okay. Let's get you to success. That's not only enough for you, but others around you. And then significance. How big an impact do you want? And Zig Ziglar said this. He said, we can have anything in life that we want if we just help enough other people get what they want. So let's get a SMART goal. A SMART goal is specific. Okay, I want to sample 3 people today. It's measurable. Yes, I want three samples today. It's attainable. I believe it is. You could go to the mall. You could go on a street corner. Get yourself looking good, feeling good. If you made a commitment, I don't even think it'd get you an hour to share 3 samples. Is it relevant if you get people with 3 samples of our product and say, look, mix it with water, start with a little bit? and enjoy. And then I'd love your feedback. Tell me how it tastes. Tell me how it makes you feel. And here's what I can tell you. A lot of people love this product. Make it their brand. And I can share more later. But the first thing I want to know is, how does it taste? How does it make you feel? And then time bound, do that today. Now, how challenging would that be? Well, I promise anybody watching this has the ability to do that. Now, since it's an evening, presentation, it might be tomorrow that you do it. But if you set a goal, I'm going to sample 3 people before this day is done, I promise you, you'll get it done. And that, if you do it consistently, could be a path to success. Speaking of goals, Ed Milet's asked the question, who are you most qualified to help? And his answer is simple. You're most qualified to help the person you used to be. Well, when I got into this, I was a practitioner with no time. I was successful. I had the money. I didn't have the time freedom. Part of that gave me influence. And when I saw how good the product was, and then at my son's extreme urging, I started sharing it in the clinic. I started sharing it on the road. I started getting great testimonials. And then ultimately he dragged me to an event, literally dragged me, not quite physically, but he strong-armed me as much as he could. And my life changed at that event. I heard stories. I realized, wow, if I want to help people, this is the vehicle. So who am I? I was a practitioner with no time. Now I got plenty of time. I was a horrific skeptic of network marketing. I'd almost rather take a series of lashing than to go into network marketing. But now that I'm in it, I'll tell you what, I'll shout it from the rooftops, one of the best. And by the way, in my early life, I was someone who wasn't healthy. I was a junk food junkie. Okay, I'm healthy now. I was someone that didn't like information. Now I love personal development. I can help everybody in that category. Here's the question. Who did you used to be? Maybe you were someone with no hope. Now you have hope. Maybe you were someone that didn't know how to sample. Now you know how to sample. Maybe you were someone who didn't know how to give a presentation. Now you present. Whoever you are now, help the person you used to be. And one of my favorite statements from Jordan Peterson, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Comparison is the thief of joy. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. And hopefully today is better. String a bunch of better days together. You create a better life. So, reverse engineer how much money you want to get paid. Sir Richard Bliss, and compliance never said that this wasn't sellable or sayable. You will typically get about 7% of your team volume if you have a good, solid, structured team. I can tell you from our team, we've gotten paid more than 7% on every dollar that's come through our organization. And 97% of those did not go through our own effort. And if people really want to run, go for the global growth bonus. There's trainings online. Your plugged in upline ought to know that. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Do presentations every day, every day, every day. Start out with your own boundless pack. If you don't know how to present, get your upline plugged in leader to do that. And then eventually you take over. But this is a 90-day process, up to $9,000 extra in bonus. The first cycle 1, you just need 4 of the boundless packs right, 4 left. Cycle 2, it goes up to 6. Cycle 3, it goes up to 8. You get more people helping you, more experience, very doable, as many people have done this. I'm a huge fan of getting 10 customers. In North America, the stat I used was the average coffee drinker drinks 3.3 cups a day. I use that number for black coffee, 2 for latte, 1 for mocha. I get people that drink 3 latte, 4 latte, 3 mocha a day, 6 to 10 black, but these are good numbers. And if you get 10 customers with this distribution and the pricing that I suggested, that's a number of $500 a month that is very attractive to most people looking for a side hustle. And then as your team grows, and I show this by multiples of 4, the numbers can be absolutely amazing. And keep in mind, with Organo's compensation and our products, we had 4 of the top 10 highest earners in all of network marketing in the same year. Number 2, we want to leverage social media. And I'll always go with our communities. Give me a lever long enough, a prop strong enough, I can single-handedly move the world. You literally have access to thousands, tens of thousands, millions, even billions of people through social media. There are people that have millions of followers. They started out with 0, and we'll share a strategy in order to do that. But I'm going to let you know that you can use AI. I'm a big fan of NowSite. Organo is not partnered or promoting NowSite, even though we're in conversation about it. They're not against it. They have a tool where you use AI. You just basically take a screenshot of someone's profile and they'll tell you what this person's interested, how to prospect them, but you don't have to pay for a monthly service. I use Grok and I ask Grok, it's free for me. How can I use AI to find and create new prospects for my network? And here's what Grok said. This was absolutely free. You can probably do it with ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, whatever you want to use. But number one, you want to identify people's interests. Well, like I said, NowSite, they'll tell you what their interests are, but look at their profile, look at what they're posting, look at their pictures. Lead with value. I like to compliment them. Hey, I saw the picture of your family vacation. That looked epic. Where's your next vacation? That might start an interesting conversation. Lead with value. I'm taking more vacations than I ever had before. I could explain that a little later because I got this really good online business. But my first question for you is, do you drink coffee or tea? Right. And then you start that conversation. What personalizes the approach? Knowing what they like, making the connection. Remember, educate, don't sell. So when they say, yeah, I drink coffee and tea, why do you ask? Listen, I'm partnered with what I believe is the cleanest, healthiest, most pure coffee and tea. And by the way, you can prove that by scanning a barcode. But I'd love to send you some samples and get your opinion. And if you like it, I'd love to earn your business. You know, I promise you that strategy has been responsible for probably 99% of our signups, which we've probably signed up over 500 people. I could give you those exact numbers. We're just sharing, educating, connecting. So you want to invite engagement, open-ended questions. What'd you like most about the coffee? What'd you like most about what you heard after you share the presentation? I offer a one-box challenge. You liked it? I think you'll love what it does for your body over the course of the month. I want you to buy a box. At the end of the box, drink it exclusively. If you're not in love with it, I'll give you all your money back. If you are in love with it, I'll show you how you can get a discount or even get it for free. Or if you're ready to go with the business, there's three options. You can be a retail customer. I'm happy to sell it to you for a small fee. You could be a wholesale buyer. Or if you're like me, you could get paid to consume and share the product. Use AI support. That's what Grok is asking to do. And follow up not only thoughtfully, but thoroughly. And there's contact management softwares. OG Pulse is one of those, with great references where we are finishing a quick start on OG Pulse as well. So I remember my grandmaster, my first grandmaster in mixed martial arts, we had a training session one time and he said, Bob, I want you to define success and you can use 3 and only 3 words. And I said, all right, health, happiness, prosperity. He said, well, that's a good definition, but would you like to learn what my masters and grandmasters taught me? I said, yeah, of course. He says, all right, they taught me that success is relationships, relationships, and relationships. So remember, what does AI say? You have to have relationships. No relationship, likely no business. Growing, thriving relationship, growing, thriving business. And we want to attract our customers and partners. So how do you attract? You go with this. You basically build relationships. You provide value. You are ethical in everything you do. I hope that doesn't need to be said. And you provide personal outreach. So as Fraser Brooks would say, do not become a Spamela Anderson. Don't be always dumping information on your products. Don't be hard sell, hard pressure. Always add value, be personal, and don't over promote, right? Do it appropriately at the right time after you've earned the right to make a recommendation. You know, it said knowledge is power. Really more than that, applied knowledge is power. So you want to know your customer. That's going to be first and foremost. That way you can make a good connection and make a recommendation that adds value to them, their life, and their circumstance. And of course, you want to know your product. And we have so many, right? We could have the coffee, we could have the tea, we could have the cocoa, all infused with reishi. Then you start going, you realize the Royal also has lion's mane and cordyceps. The red tea also has cordyceps. And then you've also got the Supreme that has the ginseng. know those. Then we've got the BU line, best organic skincare in the world. We've got Navi. Every dollar we spend in Organo is applied toward travel credit. And you can even get a forever week with a customized concierge to help you with your travel. And then finally, we have the Neuro Tracker, the Cognition Suite, the brain training technology. So here's a fact. In North America, this was based on 3.0 cups of coffee a day over the course of 59.3 years. So they're saying, okay, this person started at 18, lived to 77.3. You could start earlier, you could live longer, you could drink more, but look at that number, 66,000 cups over the course of a lifetime. And we're not even in the top 10 countries in the world for coffee consumption. So you got 10 countries that are drinking probably 70,000 or more cups of coffee a year. And here's the sad reality. There's a lot of coffee that has mold and mycotoxins. A bunch of coffee has heavy metals. Others have herbicides, insecticides, fungicides. Others have microplastics and other contaminants. And what Organo does is they screen the coffee and they make sure that ours are certified clean. Now, keep in mind, they're less than certain parts per billion, which is where they can test. For compliance sake, you can't say it's mold-free because there might be parts per trillion, quadrillion, whatever. But we have the highest quality standards, the highest testing, and the cleanest products on the market. And by the way, one taste helps. So one purist was upset about some of the ingredients in the mocha. And I said, look, one, you don't have to buy it, but two, understand that Ganoderma is so good at helping the body clear toxins. Go to PubMed.gov, look at Ganoderma and some of these horrible toxins like MPTP that does serious brain damage, and realize that if Ganoderma can neutralize those horrible toxins, the little micro additives to make sure that our cocoa doesn't clump, it can handle that with ease. I asked AI, tell me about these medicinal mushrooms. And they said, look, they've been used for, they said, centuries. Really, it's more like millennia. And what does AI say? It says they're great for immunity, cognitive function, and even energy. We're not going to say our products do that, but we can say that about the mushrooms. And then think about it. If you're getting toxins, 66,000 in a lifetime, versus something that doesn't have the toxins and is turbocharged, how would you be better off? I believe we all know the answer. Number 5 is you want to have a mentor. There's mentorship built within. And I'm going to tell you right now, mentorship is easier than ever. You could go online. You could type in network marketing. Some of my favorites, Eric Worre, the greatest trainer right now. I almost said Sir Richard Bliss, but Richard Bliss Brooks is a great mentor. Fraser Brooks is a great mentor. There's even people from other companies that I don't mind promoting their training because I know them to be authentic and great people. And why don't I mind promoting them? I'm not worried about the competition. I believe we have the best opportunity in all of network marketing because our products are so good, patent protected, and something that people do multiple times every single day, never needing to be reminded, never planning to quit. So they said a mentor is like a time machine and a money machine. You look at Michelangelo, you look at Leonardo da Vinci, they were apprentices under masters. If you would commit to apprenticing under a master in this business for a couple of years, you could probably create more wealth than those guys ever imagined. And by the way, what does Art Williams say? He says, when you pick a mentor, make sure it's someone that has a good resume of accomplishments. You know, if you want to get healthy, pick someone healthy. If you want to get rich, pick someone who's rich. If you want to learn to have a beautiful impact on the world, reach out to someone who has an impact. If you want to be kind, look out to someone who's kind. If you want to be all the above, try to find that. The more we add to the list, the harder it is to find. But the closer you match the mentor to who you want to be, the closer you follow their advice, I think the faster and better you get there. Next is going to be time blocks, deep work. Robin Sharma likes to call it a tight bubble of total focus. He's got his 90-91 rule. Here's what he says. If you're willing to commit the first 90 minutes for 90 straight days to your one thing, you will likely accomplish more in that 90 days than anybody else would over the course of the year that wasn't doing that. It's summer. Eric Worre says people have a hard time committing during summer. I've found that to be true. So for summer, I'm going to give you the 33 protocol. Commit 30 minutes of deep work for 3 straight days. and then renew your commitment every 3 days. Can you commit 30 minutes for 3 days? I bet you can. If you can't, we really need to have a conversation, because if you can't commit 30 minutes for 3 straight days, you need this business more than anybody that I know. We want to make the right activities within those 30 minutes, and I'll show that in a few moments. But step 7 was empower and train your team for duplication. One of my favorite topics. There I was, 2020, on Eric Worre's $25 million stage training. I think there was 40,000 people in attendance on radical duplication. You cannot duplicate people, but you can duplicate systems. And always, if you're going to lead, you must lead by example, example, and example. So what's the system? Everybody knows it. Everybody does it, and it works. When people look at this system, they want to say, this looks simple. I think it'll work. I think I could do it. So here's our expanded system, and I'm going to simplify it in the next slide. But number 1, be a product of the product. Use as much as you possibly can. Not a single day starts without me using OG Smile toothpaste, drinking coffee, washing my face with the G3 soap, the best soap. If you're not familiar with the soap or toothpaste, get used to it. 1, they're best in class, but 2, you get paid to brush your teeth. You get paid to wash your face. And then, of course, to pay to drink coffee and tea. Then we've got our skincare, our brain technology, and always using the travel platform every time I travel. Now, what's the strategy? I like what Fraser Brooks says. You want to collect friends. You don't likely collect a friend by going out and saying, hi, I want to be your friend. It usually takes some exchange, multiple exchanges, some adding of value. And ultimately, once we collect that friend, once we earn the right to make a recommendation, hey, I've got some coffee or tea I want to share. I'm a big fan of sharing the samples. You could share a video. OG Pulse has great videos. We have created some for NowSite. There's great videos. I promise you, OG Academy has great videos. We like some that are short and sweet and to the point. Everybody has access to OG Pulse. Once you give them a sample or a video, collect a decision. Would you like more? Would you like to buy a box? Would you like to learn more about the business? And then finally, the more you do that, the more commissions you collect. Every single day, we want to share products and share the opportunity. Every single day, we want to show up as our best and getting better self. So invest in yourself in terms of personal development. And then finally, become a master promoter. The best promoters get promoted. So we all can promote these opportunity presentations in OG Academy's Facebook group. 2 of my favorites there, 2 absolute superstars, Diamond Diane Solano, Blue Diamond Casey Nielsen Martin. They share from the heart. They have a different story leading in, a different way of sharing. Very, very, very empowering. I have it this week. Different presenters every week. And then we're going to keeping these fresh. You can always share with that. You can also refer up the chain if you're new, or learn from these presentations on how to give your best presentation. And I have the next one next week. So to wrap it up, get your clear vision and your SMART goals. If you're in survival, let's get you out of that. Ultimately, we want you working towards success, stability, significance, all those things. Learn to leverage social media and digital marketing. Again, NowSite, great. They do have some free versions and then relatively inexpensive versions. Again, Organo is not yet endorsing that. I use it. I like it. I think it's good for you. Always build relationships. Don't push people away. Err on the side of caution. Err on the side of slow. Have I ever gone too slow? I don't believe I have in this business. Have I ever gone too fast? I have. I've done it even recently, right? I thought someone was really, really prime. I said something they didn't like. It kind of pushed them back a little. Now I'm back to creating rapport. It's going to happen. You want to lead people to where they want to go, but never push. Maybe I tried to nudge. It was probably perceived as a push. You want to master the product knowledge, leverage mine and other experts for now, and even ethical selling. Good to learn that. Good to study that. Treat others like you want to be treated. You do have a mentor in this business. Use them and learn from the successful leaders. Your daily routine will make or break you. I'm going to encourage you to get a good one. And then finally, empower your team for duplication. In the beginning, you're probably going to plug them into the resources, the OG Academy, the tools, and your plugged in upline. And as always, I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy healthy, and successful. So good night, all, and God bless.